we know that the first flow is going to be triggered when the student submits a payment. So for that, what I did in the actual build is we used a webhook, and we basically just had the payment processor send a notification to this n8n webhook so it would trigger the workflow when someone had paid. I'm going to go ahead and use a tool called Postman to send over a mock payload to this webhook. So I'm going to go into the webhook, choose post as the method. I'm going to copy this test URL right here, and I'm going to go ahead and execute the workflow. So now it's listening. I'm going to go into Postman. We're going to do a post request to that webhook URL. And we just need to send over a few things in the body. So what we're sending over right here is first name, last name, email, and phone number. So I'll go ahead and hit send. And if we go back into n8n, we should see that we just received that data. And you can see right over here on this right-hand side, we captured that body payload that we had just set up. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this data, and we'll keep moving on the rest of the flow. So the next step is to send them a welcome email. So I would go ahead and add a Gmail node. We're going to use a send a message operation. And I'm going to go ahead and drag in the email that we got from them in order to shoot this off to them. For the subject, I said, welcome to AIS Academy. And we're going to make it a little more personalized by dragging in their first name right here. So now it would come through as welcome to AIS Academy, Nate. And then I just dropped in a body message. And if you open it up, you can see it says, hey, Nate, welcome aboard. Click below to create your student account and start learning. And then this is where you would just drop some sort of link where they would actually go and create their account. Now, the last thing I like to do is go to the options, turn off the append n8n attribution. That way the email doesn't come through and say this email was automatically generated by n8n. So I'm going to go ahead and fire that off, and we can go take a look real quick at what that looks like. There we go. This is what the email looks like. Welcome to AIS Academy, Nate. Welcome aboard. And then I would click on this and basically create my account. So after that, what we want to do is we want to notify the internal team that someone just paid. So I'm going to do a Slack operation. We're going to come all the way down here to send a message. I'm just going to choose what channel I want to send it to. In this case, I'm going to send it to a channel called YouTube Testing, and then we just need to configure the actual message we're sending over. Okay, so here's what I came up with. I have new student has paid on, and then I threw in the function for today's date. On the right-hand side, you can see it's coming through as today's date and also the exact time. And then I basically just dragged in from the webhook. I went all the way down to the payload that we received from earlier, and I dragged in the first name and the last name. So now it says Nate Herc is being onboarded now. And then just to keep it clean in Slack, I threw in, squiggly line things. And when I shoot this off into Slack, you'll see why I did that. But before I shoot this off, I also like to go ahead and add an option called include link to workflow and turn that off. So I'm going to go ahead and execute this step. We can see it got sent. And if I go to my Slack, you can see that it says new student has paid on this date, this time, and then we have Nate Herc is being onboarded now. And then the line here is just basically to keep all these messages separate as you start to have them sort of stack up.